Hey everybody, and welcome back to The Family Eats. You're in the kitchen with Vita. And I know it's been a little bit, but we've had a lot going on, and the way everything has been with COVID and our schedule, it just wasn't possible to start a new video. So, I welcome you all back, and today we're going to make Scotch eggs. Now, Scotch eggs, you would think, originated in Scotland. They did not. They originated in Britain. They were a British pub snack to have served with beer at the bar, and eventually they made their way here and they never left. It's a great, nice hot snack to have in a pub with any type of beer, light beer, heavy beer, it doesn't matter. They're great for game day, and I thought that's why it's time to get back on, because Super Bowl's coming up, and I have to start making all of my favorite dishes for you all to observe on YouTube. So I've got everything here. I'm going to go over each item list for your grocery list. It's not much that you have to get together. It's a really fast recipe, and what I would recommend before you start your mix, I would recommend that you preheat your broiler, because these are going to go into the broiler, I would say, for about 5 to 10 minutes, not on high, and keep the door ajar so you can keep an eye on them, so you don't want them to scorch and burn. They're Scotch eggs, not scorched eggs. So we're going to watch them, and then we're going to drop the oven temperature down after about 5-10 minutes, depending on how your oven is, your broiler. We're going to drop it down to 375, and you're going to keep an eye on them, but you want to make sure that everything is cooked all the way through. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to jump right in here, okay? I'm going to give you the list first. So our list is hard-boiled eggs. However many you want to serve is what you should hard-boil ahead of time, because you don't want them hot. You want them hard-boiled, already cooled, and peeled. You want to be careful when you peel them. You want them to be nice and uniform. You do not want them to be all broken up. So if you're one of those people that have a really hard time peeling eggs, Google it. There's a couple different methods that will help you. So I'm doing 4 Scotch eggs today. So I have my 4 hard-boiled eggs. I have my ground mild pork sausage. Now, if you like your sausage medium or hot, by all means, go for it. Andy and I can't tolerate the real hot sausage anymore. So I'm doing mild Italian sausage. So we've got bulk pork sausage, or if you have sausage in the casing and you'd like to just remove it all from the casing, you can do that. It's still ground sausage. Onion powder, minced garlic or garlic powder, your hard-boiled eggs, and there's an option between panko breadcrumbs. Some people really like them. For me, they're a little too bland. I like to go with seasoned croutons. I buy a whole bag of seasoned croutons. They have Italian seasoned, they have garlic and Parmesan, whatever. I just wouldn't recommend the Caesar ones. So I take the whole bag and I leave it closed, and I use either a hard glass jar or a good solid jar or can of soup, whatever. Just something you're not going to bust your hand through. And keep it in the bag and ground them. And you've got seasoned breadcrumbs. It's that easy. I've chosen just the premium Italian seasoned organic crumbs. They're crumbs now. I did that ahead of time so you wouldn't have to listen to all that as I'm doing it. Okay, so as far as spices, your sausage is going to be seasoned on its own for the most part, but I also add the onion powder and coriander in here. I do a little sweet hot barbecue rub in there, just a little. I use minced garlic, not garlic powder, and a good amount of oregano. Because I bought the mild ground sausage, I thought it would be better to add in some more of the oregano. I also like, if I don't have fresh basil, which is my all-time favorite, and I use it a lot, but I don't have any today. So I got a tube of stir-in basil paste, organic, right in my produce department. I keep that in the fridge for when I do run out. It's still fresh. and I don't like the aroma or even the taste of dried basil. So that's all up to you. I also like to add a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce into the sausage mix. Okay, so now, like I said, could not be much easier, and fresh flat leaf parsley, of course. So I'm going to start with cutting in my parsley into my sausage. That's going to help not only with a little texture and a little fresh color, bright color, whatever, but I like it because it helps you digest so much better when you're talking spicy or very seasoned. And you got hard-boiled eggs here as well. So you just cut this in, or chop it. You can chop it as well, but I brought out my shears so I didn't have to have the chopping board out. Because there's so few ingredients, there was no reason to. So we've got that. I'm going to put a few little leaves into my breadcrumb bowl. So there we are. So first of all, I'm going to take the ground sausage, and what I'm using for 4 eggs, I use 4 medium eggs, not large, just because I don't want to make, you know, the really large Scotch eggs. I'm doing about 1.5 pounds, maybe 1.25 pounds. All that goes in. And you mix everything right in the bowl. This is your garbage. So there's your sausage. And now I start adding in all of my spices. I've got the oregano. And as I've told you, remove your rings before you do anything like this because your hands are the very best mixers. If you're Italian, you know that. So, you rub the oregano to wake it up, as I've always told you. Next is the onion powder, because I'm not using fresh onions. Onion powder and a little coriander and also a little sweet hot barbecue rub. Okay. And your minced garlic as well. Or you could use garlic powder, of course. You just don't want big hunks of garlic in there. I mean, if you're all eating garlic, or, you know, you're having this, you know, date night, and you're both eating garlic, doesn't matter, because it's going to cancel it out because you're both having it. And then if you're using fresh basil, I would say a few leaves. And then if you're using the tube, I would say a good tablespoon in there. And then you're going to just mix it all together. Get all that blended in there first. And add your teaspoon of Worcestershire. Comes out very fast, so I don't measure. Be careful though, because it does pour out of there quite quickly. You only need a little bit. You don't want the sausage too soggy. I mean, you want it wet because it's going to have to adhere to all of the breadcrumbs. So once this is blended, you lose the spoon and get right in there with your hands. That's what's going to mix this really well. And of course, it goes without saying, make sure before you even begin your hands are good and washed, especially when you're working with raw meat. So just take it, mush it all together. It's a beautiful, beautiful way to get right in tune with your food. Now I've got my broiler preheating, so my fan automatically pops on to adjust the heat that it's throwing off. And as I said, you want to make sure you're watching it, and it's only 5-10 minutes tops. I doubt you'll get 10 minutes with the broiler if you've preheated it and you're going in hot, just to start getting them kind of toasty. Because no, I'm not frying these. You can. I don't recommend it. They tend to get very greasy and separate from the egg too much. So I don't like them fried. I like them baked. So what we're going to do next is fill our bowl here with our breadcrumbs that we've made. As I said, I keep a lot of like leftover heel of an Italian bread and French bread. I keep them in the freezer. I just didn't take them out early enough to be able to grate them, let them really thaw. I didn't want this gummy. So there's one bag. That's one full bag of croutons. And if you got a few pieces that didn't crush, just take what you've got right in front of you and crush them down. You wanted a good rustic crush. They don't have to be tiny, tiny. All of it. A good portion of it does, but it's okay if you got some humps there. Okay, glad I got it all. Can't see inside the bag, so that'll be fine. Okay, so your very first thing you're going to do is you're going to score, I do anyway, I score the meat. If I'm doing 4 eggs, I want to score the sausage into 4 sections, if you can see that. And then you grab that section, and that's going to be your first Scotch egg. Now, I want you to take your knuckles, just like this, push in, and then start using your hands. And you're going to make a sausage patty, but you're going to hollow out the middle for room for the egg. You're going to take your hard-boiled egg, place it in the center. Now this is very crucial. You want to make sure that you take your time and mold that sausage all around the hard-boiled egg. And you want a nice, uniform, looks like a giant meatball or a sausage ball. But the egg has plenty of room in there when it's cooking to not break away. So then when you're ready to serve this gorgeous golden Scotch egg, you're going to cut it right down the middle, and you'll see it does make a difference to take your time and make sure it's a good uniform ball before you start rolling it into the breadcrumbs. So the next thing is I have sprayed with just a little bit of nonstick, because you know the sausage is going to throw a lot of grease on its own. So I've got a muffin pan. I don't like to put these on a cookie sheet because you definitely have a very flat edge. This kind of helps to keep, as it's cooking, its shape right in its own compartment, and it's going to cook within its own juices instead of falling apart all over a cookie sheet. Okay? So take the meatball or sausage Scotch egg and just start rolling until you see that it's really, really coated and you don't see raw meat. You'll get a feel for this. This isn't rocket science. As you can see, it's only a few spices, a couple herbs, some sausage, and hard-boiled eggs, and breadcrumbs. That grocery list does not get much more affordable when you want a good pub snack and a nice big tall ice cold beer on game day, or if you're looking for a nice appetizer before pasta day, this is a good one. And it's got protein from the egg. Who doesn't love Italian sausage? That's pretty covered. Now you want to really make sure it's good and encased. And what I do once they're in place in its compartment, I take a little bit more, sprinkle right over the top, just to ensure you got a good solid amount of breadcrumbs. And you just keep going as such, same way. So we'll do it again. Make a patty, almost like a rough, rustic hamburger patty, and you're going to hollow out the middle just a little bit with your fingertips. Start with your knuckles. Press it forward with your fingertips. Make a well. Take a hard-boiled egg, definitely that's cold, and you're going to start pulling it forward. Too little sausage will keep it too thin around the egg. It's going to separate. So you want to make sure you got enough. If they're too big for you and you don't want it this intense, you can scale down. Use small eggs, or definitely medium eggs, and put your sausage in the ball form that works for you. You can use a larger muffin pan. The jumbo pans would work. You just don't want to give it too much room to spread out and separate. And of course, I hope I don't need to tell you that when you're done and you've got leftover breadcrumbs, they are not to be saved. They need to be thrown away. This is raw meat. You can't throw them in the freezer and use them another time. That's cross-contamination. So, honestly, it's a bag of seasoned breadcrumbs. I got organic because they were so affordable. So, good and encrusted. Pack them in there really good. Do another roll. I would say a good 2 or 3 passes of the breadcrumbs. You can also add Parmesan, shredded cheese to this, but keep in mind, your sausage tends to be the spicy, salty side, so the more you add like that, the saltier it's going to be. You might like that. A lot of people did back in Britain because the salt made the customers drink more in the pubs, so they went that route. You can also take a nice big dipper of tomato sauce and pour it over top like you would a rice ball, and make it a really fancy hors d'oeuvre or slight meal. You can have mustard for dipping sauce. Whatever you would put on an Italian sausage, maybe some of my sweet hot mustard would be a really great mix for that as well. Any dipping condiment that works for you. You can use sour cream if you'd like as well, for just to kind of cool it, especially if you're doing a hot sausage. Okay, so I'm going to continue on here, and when we come back, I'll show you the pan ready to go into the broiler, and I'm going to continue rolling, and it's going to be repetitive for you. So I've shown you the two, and I've given you the grocery list. Now we take a quick cheers, because you have to. It's how you start a meal. When I come back, I will show you how we're ready to go into the oven, and we'll take another break, and when they're done, I will take them out and you'll see the golden beautifulness that they are. Get your grocery list together. Make sure your beer is nice and cold. I'll be back in just a bit. Hi everybody, we're back, and I have all of my Scotch eggs ready. As you can see, I switched to my jumbo muffin pan because I made jumbo Scotch eggs. So it's either way. If you want to make smaller eggs, Scotch eggs, I would go with the smaller muffin pan. I made jumbo ones. I need the jumbo muffin pan. It's whatever it turns out to be. Hopefully you got both. If not, then you're going to have to scale them down and make them smaller into a regular muffin pan. So they're going to go into the broiler for the first 5 to 10 minutes until they start to get golden brown on top. And please watch them. They will scorch. You don't want the pan right up to the broiler because it is sausage. Come down one level with your rack. Then they're going to bake at 375 for 35 to 40 minutes. They're a pretty good size, so you need that much time. And you'll know they'll be good and golden. You're going to lower the pan down to the next rack when you switch the oven over to bake from broil. Like I said, 375 for 35 to 40 minutes. When they are done and beautiful and golden, I will take them out and put them on a plate and slice them open, and you will see all of its gorgeousness. And we'll see it together. See you in a little while. Hi, I've just gotten the Scotch eggs out of the oven. They were in the broiler for 6 minutes, at least with my oven. I don't know how yours runs, but you really want to keep the door ajar and check it out. because the tops will burn if you're not careful. I also took a little bit of canola nonstick spray and sprayed the top just so it would catch the broiler, or the broiler would catch those crumbs and brown it so it wouldn't have to be under there so long. And then I did switch it to 375. They cooked for 35 minutes. Take a look at this gorgeousness. Can't you just taste this? Look at that. Can you see it? Can you see the yellow yolk is so soft? Now, if you like your egg a little runny, you can stop the hard-boiled eggs a little earlier. Some people like them to be runny. I like a good runny soft-boiled egg, but not like this. Like this, I like it good and solid, but you might. The breadcrumbs are nice and hard and crunchy. You can hear it. You want to let them cool for about, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes before you try to slice them. And don't hack at it. Saw back and forth slowly so you can get a nice cut like this on it. And if you need to warm up your Scotch eggs, take them out of the refrigerator, let them set to room temperature, approximately 10-15 minutes. Don't cut them ice cold, and we'll try to warm them ice cold. Slice them, or you can keep it whole. I guess if you want, it's going to take a lot longer. But I would slice it in half when they're room temperature. Put them in the microwave for 30 seconds. That's all you need. And pour yourself a new beer and have them all over again. You're going to love these. I hope you try them. If you do, I would really hope that you would give me a message and let me know that you've tried them. Please do not forget before you leave the link, the video, to give me a thumbs up, a like, a share, and you're not only helping me out, you're helping others be able to see this. So share it and talk about it on Facebook. So until next time, which is going to be probably tomorrow night, I'm going to start filming my homemade, from scratch, chili. It's going to be awesome too. Please try Scotch eggs. Bon appetit.